apologize to the fans. Like, be like, I'm sorry I ain't scored prior, but they scored. Garnacho scored as well. Couldn't believe it. 2 in one, both in one game. That's what's good about playing Leicester, though. Like, do you know what I mean? If you got anyone who needs a goal because they've been on a drought, put them in for that match.
You got them next, LB, didn't you?
Who? Leicester.
Leicester, yeah.
Yeah. We got Leicester at home.
That's what you want. They're terrible. They are. Shit, mate.
I always like seeing a City defeat, right? But whenever I look at the pictures and you see like a Leicester at home against you, it's like, that's that. Even City this season can't throw that one away. Francisco actually here says, Terry, we've got to talk about City, please. I think he means 200 million spent and still not winning all your games.
Yeah, talk on it, man. Talk on it. What's happened to your January?
Hang on a minute.
January was saving you, LB.
Hang on a minute.
You threw the lead away twice, didn't you, the other day?
Hang on a minute. Yeah. We spent 200 million quid, yeah. And the aim of the game was to get Champions League and win the FA Cup. And we are on track.
Make sure you beat Bournemouth. Tough game, that is.
Mate, they battered us in the league there. And honestly, man, like, you know what's crazy in that game as well, right? We actually probably should have drawn the game because in the end, we scored one. We pulled one back and then Haaland hit the post in like the last minute of the game. We probably should have drawn. But they battered us. Absolutely cooked us, they did. That was at the beginning of the terrible run. I think it was Spurs, and then it was I think it was the Bournemouth game. But yeah, listen, Marmoush cooking on gas. I like the look of Marmoush. Huzanov, good man. Bill looking the other day. Nico G looks all right. Avita Hayes, we've not really seen too much of him, but yeah, another 300 million in the summer, maybe 350, and yeah, we'll be ready to go again next year, man. That's what we need. Money.
You know how much when you say that it rattles people. I can just imagine them now in their bedrooms going, why do you have to spend money?
It's like pet checkbook manager. So I love seeing it in the chat, man. I do love seeing it. It used to rattle me, to be honest with you. And then I was like, yo, I'm gonna start rattling them in it by saying it. So yeah, but honestly, we do need money. I said it to be honest with you, I said it before January. I said this squad needs 500 million quid spending on it. Do you know what happens is, right? We didn't spend any money in the summer. And what I've realized, yeah, is that as a club, you need to maintain a minimum investment every single year, right? Because that's how you maintain your team at the top. If you go down and don't spend money like we did in this summer, we only spent 20 million euros, right? Eventually, yeah, you're going to have to go up. It's the peaks and troughs. It's the same with Liverpool. Liverpool spent 10 million quid in the summer. They got 3 players going. They're going to have to spend big cash. Now, where Arsenal went wrong in the summer is they should have got the ace. They've maintained at least an investment, so they have to get a couple of players. But City, because we've not done what we should have done in the last couple of years, we've left ourselves in a position where we've had to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, which was also why when you guys were winning everything, and it was like, oh, look, City ain't spending as much as everybody else. It's because the investment before this mega winning was when all the top players in the world were 50, 60, 70 millions. The world changed. Sort of 2018, 2019, 2020, where the types of players you already had were 100+ million. Then you got a little, not lucky, but it was a buyout clause. You got Erling Haaland for 50 million in agent fees, but on paper, it's 50. If he didn't have that buyout clause, that was a 150 million pound player. But yes, you're now at a point where you're having to restock a massive part of your squad in maybe the most expensive period in transfer window history. So the expenditure is going to be, you'll probably get half the players in totality for the same money as what you spent 6 years ago. So, yeah, it's going to be a very expensive time.
But I think, honestly, going forward, I want to see City spending £70 million minimum a summer. Because then you maintain your team at the top. You know, everyone was, I know some City fans was like really happy in the summer because like, oh, look at us, we only spent 20 million. Like, people are not going to use the money excuse. But now we're struggling to get Champions League. And we might not win anything. So you've got to maintain. At the end of the day, football's about having the best players. Yeah, Fergie bought the best players. Pep bought the best players. Mancini bought the best players. You buy the best players, you win. Chelsea buy the best players, they won back in the day. It's not rocket science. You buy the best players, you win. And ultimately, this summer we bought Savio, who's a development player for like maybe next year or the year after, and Gundogan, who's obviously at the end of his career. Last year, what did we buy? Nunez, who's not a top player. We bought Gvardiol, who is a good player, but he's a left back. So, how much impact is he going to really have? you're probably going back to the treble year when we bought Haaland as like a proper impactful player into the team. And look what happened. You won the treble. It's not rocket science.
Talk about that West Ham fan had to be lawless on the burner account. Does Terry actually think, you could just ask me directly, but does Terry actually think Hale End players leaving was a wise decision, seeing what Waneri and MLS are doing? Yes and no. It's about gateways and it's about paths. And I think Chido Obi didn't, I think he wanted to leave in general. I think he wanted to go, wasn't happy with what he was being offered. I think with Heaven, I mean, they may live to regret it. They may not. But just because 2 or 3 other players are doing very, very well coming through, it doesn't mean that they were going to get the opportunities. In fact, it's very hard, I think, to develop more than 3 or 4 genuine fledgling academy players at the same time in the same team, especially when you're Arsenal and you're on the brink of winning something. Very different if it was Arsenal of 3 or 4 years ago where they're building a squad and a team and there is more room for error. So you have to get that balance right, Ray. Dan, would you take 100 million for Gabriel from Saudi and sign Van Dijk on a free for the next 2 to 3 years? I personally would take him and buy Isak with the money.
Yeah, I would, but it's not going to happen. we're going to get Van Dijk. Yeah. Van Dijk and Saliba and Isak. Yeah, my team. I'd take that. I love Gabriel though. But yeah, 100 million. Yeah, that's sort of fair money.
Wouldn't you love to see that this year? By the way, if they do lose all 3 players, Trent's going to go Real Madrid. Wouldn't you just for the content? Wouldn't you love to see a Van Dijk or a Salah join like a Premier League rival of Liverpool?
You know what? That something that like doesn't happen enough is rival transfers. Like City when we bought Tevez. Who was it? It was the guy Campbell. Yeah, it was the guy Figo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you imagine? I know it won't happen. Can you imagine if genuinely, if Van Dijk just says I'm off, and then boom, he's standing there with Ruben Amorim holding the shirt. Part of me would just, again, because that's my club, I'd love to see it. But the other way around, like who's leaving on a free? Imagine Harry Kane comes back to the Prem. I know it's not a direct move, but joins Arsenal. I would love to see. I don't remember the last transfer that genuinely made a fan base fuming. I can't remember which one it was. Sterling going to City was one of them, but he was still very young. What was the last one?
Into Man United. That was a bit of a strange one.
It probably was Van Persie to Man United.
Yeah, that was bad.
I can't think of the last time where everyone's gone. And viewers, let us know in the comment section.
Remember Leeds fans hated Alan Smith for going to United, didn't they?
We picked him up. I'd love to see. I mean, just like Salah leaves, and I know you guys don't have the biggest rivalry, but he joins Man City. Forget me as a United fan. I'd hate to see that, but because I want him out of the Premier League for bias.
Even if they went to Newcastle, like Van Dijk and Salah.
Yeah, I'd love to
imagine
that. Like that. Can you imagine? Just you go, fuck me, Sancho. No, we celebrated, bruv.
Do you think the 3 of them are going now, lads? Genuinely, as we hit before.
I think so. I think every day that passes puts it on that they're probably going to leave. Like, the thing is, right, you had some Liverpool fans coming out saying, oh, the contracts are already signed. They're just waiting for the best time to announce it. That is the biggest load of BS I've ever read about. If they've agreed to stay, they'll sign it and announce it straight away because the club needs the fans to know what's going on, the stability. I think the problem that they've got is that the 2 players that I genuinely think want to stay, which is Van Dijk and Salah, they're probably asking for big money and they're probably asking for a 3-year contract. And Liverpool, and I don't think Trent wants to stay, so that's irrelevant. And the problem with Liverpool is, are Liverpool going to give Salah 400 grand a week and a 3-year contract when he's 32, 33? Because at some point he's going to fall off. Right? He's not going to carry on like doing this for the next 10 years, is he? So the problem is if they give him a 3-year contract on 400 grand a week and he falls off next year, because he could fall off next year, they're then stuck with him on 400 grand a week for the next 3 years. And the same with Van Dijk. And this is the problem that they've got. This is why you've got to keep that contract. You've got to keep it topped up, and I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how they've let themselves get into this position. Alisson's probably watching it. He's got 2 years left on his deal going. Yeah, I might do the same strategy, just wait it out. And yeah, not good, man.
No, I hear you on that. Mason Mount, Johnny Minerals was pissed. Yeah, he was. I have a hot take. I don't think Big Ange gets sacked. Well, that would be an interesting.
Yeah, we don't talk about Spurs on this show, man. But Like, I don't know if I seen the clip of him arguing with that fan, and I thought, all I heard the fan say, right, yeah, and
What was
correct me
that?
if I'm wrong, was like, "What's that?" And he's kicking off with it. Like, all right, maybe he shouldn't be filming it. He's obviously maybe looking for a reaction or whatever. But he said, "What's that?" Then the bottom half of the table, I think Sava or someone was saying, some Spurs fan was saying that this is the worst season in Premier League history for Spurs, or that he's statistically the worst Premier League manager Spurs have ever had. So I think for a fan to say, "What's that?" and him start kicking off, I don't know what is going on there. I think
Yeah.
maybe he's under pressure. He's
Lost
feeling the
his head,
pressure,
man.
but his
Big
team's a bit
pressure.
weird. That.
Massive pressure. I agree. I'm more fearful of Gabriel leaving than Saliba. Fans don't know ball. Social media FC are disgust me. How about Saliba for VVD, Daniel?
Saliba for Van Dijk. No, man, I want Saliba over any centre back right now because for me, I think he's going to be the most lethal defender that we've seen in a long time. Van Dijk's got a couple of years that's very, very top left, I think, but Saliba, I think, looks absolutely ridiculous. So he's the one I agree. I'm more fearful of Saliba leaving than Gabriel personally because Saliba, I think, is
Because
going to
of the
be
longevity, yeah.
Yeah, man. At 23 years old, I ain't seen anyone this good for a long time. So, yeah, man.
He's very, very good indeed. Listen.